So everyone, I think, is going to have different opinions on this. But I'm kind of the opinion that like camouflage doesn't matter nearly as much as some sort of way of identifying friendly forces. Like, yeah, you want to stay hidden and whatever, but like all your dudes need to look the same too. And people underestimate shit like this. And with some of the stuff that's coming up in the collapsing of the world, if that happens, you might want to figure out some ways to identify who's actually on your side and who's not. And like this can relate to like letting people into your group or whatever. That's kind of a different topic than this. I need to do that topic too. Someone wanted that. I don't really have that much to say about that because I have my thoughts on that are like I only trust family. So identifying friendlies in combat though, like paint paint your shit all the same color. Like pick a color. That's a pretty standard way to do it. Uh, you could do bandanas. You could do arm insignias, flashes, something like that. Armbands. Think of the Dirty Dozen. It blue armbands versus red armbands. You know, with some of the shit that's coming up, we're probably going to be in situations where people are going to be wearing something like that. Although it kind of looks more like it's going to be like Antifa people versus I don't know. They're definitely one side of it, but I think honestly the government's going to squash them before they ever fucking do anything. In the military, they put people in uniforms, and like that's kind of what I would do. I would make all your guys try to look as much the same as possible, and like sometimes that's not always easy, but like you can definitely tell like Russian soldiers from American soldiers just by looking at them if you've ever seen the two before. It's not that hard of a thing, and the thing that's going to be tricky in shit hits the fan is everybody looks like everybody. You don't know who anybody is really, so I want my team to be marked in some sort of way so that I know who's who, and at least like maybe we're all wearing the same camo pattern or something like that. I would prefer having like something on their front that's less obvious, that is an indicator of some sort, and then something on their back that's very obvious that hey, this is one of us. Because hopefully like that your back's never turned towards the enemy, so you could have more obvious shit on it. That's not always the case, but it's how a lot of people prep their shit. I think having flags, you know, battle flags indicating who you are, probably handy. Uh, Other ways to identify friendlies would be code words and noises and shit like that, but most of that's not as good as visual identification. Like I had that D-Day cricket in my survival vest. It's a handy thing. You can make a noise with it that doesn't sound like you, you know. It doesn't sound like a cricket exactly either, but it does not sound like a paratrooper. That's the goal of that thing is you can make a noise that doesn't sound paratrooper-y. That's a word. Well, that's all I had to say about identifying friendlies and shit. It's the fan. I guess I'm doing short videos today, except for the one long live thing. You have to tell me if you liked that. Someone wanted a video on this, so I figured I would do it. I'm gonna mention one other thing. In addition to like the paint, face paint, war paint, body paint, like don't shoot the people with the red faces, that kind of things. Although, like painting your face red is going to give the enemy a fucking target to shoot at, so probably not a good idea. It's probably why it fell out of favor. But you could do some sort of shit like that. It's one of those you have to improvise, come up with something that's you. Thanks for watching.